Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new Destiny video. So before we get into the main topic of this video, I just wanted to talk about something for a little bit. So my last video, it wasn't as well received as some of my other videos, so that kind of got me thinking. I think I'm going to make more videos like this, sort of more short, focused, sort of centered videos, because my last video, it wasn't like my top quality. I think it was just because it was like a longer video. It wasn't, you know, my best. It was pretty stressful. Sometimes those longer videos can get pretty stressful. I think I'm gonna make more videos like this, or shorter, more like centered and focused to the point. You know, people won't get bored as quick. I won't get bored making it. I won't get stressed making it. It'll be just better quality, I think, and I think it's just better like this. I myself prefer videos when they're like shorter and more centered. You know, you can get quite bored when a video's like 10 minutes long. So just thought I'd mention that quickly, just in case you watched the last video and you were just like, ugh, that was a bit crap. So yeah, wasn't my top quality, but I'm gonna really push to make all my future videos as good as they possibly can be. And yeah, we're just moving straight on with life, I guess. So today we're talking about the possibility of Saturn and many other places in the solar system possibly opening up to us in the Taken King. So the reason I'm saying Saturn first is because in the Taken King VDoc that Bungie put out, we have this shot of the Dreadnaught here, basically Oryx's giant space castle, and we can see it sitting behind some sort of planet. Now at first I couldn't tell what this planet was, but if you look really closely you can just make out like Saturn's famous rings. So this is obviously Saturn, and also some other shots we got from the Dreadnaught. We can see Saturn and the rings pretty close up here in the background. So it's pretty obvious that Oryx has parked up his car right next to Saturn. So since the Dreadnaught is so close to Saturn, this got me thinking, you know, we could be heading there to Saturn for story mission strikes, maybe even the new patrol area. So in the Taken King, we're obviously going to be heading to the Dreadnaught, and to get there we're going to have to fly past Saturn anyway. And since the Dreadnaught is so close to Saturn, the Vanguard's going to be like, well, you might as well check it out and see what Saturn is like after the collapse and see what's left there, because Oryx is parked so close to it. So this is going to be really interesting to see how Bungie like work around this, because Saturn is like a gas giant, so it doesn't actually have a surface. It doesn't have like a rock surface that we can actually land on. It's going to be interesting to see how Bungie like work around that, since we don't actually know what Saturn is really like on the surface. It's going to be interesting to see how we like colonize Saturn. So some people online have theorized that in the golden age of humanity, they built like floating cities in the lower atmosphere of Saturn, and that's how we colonized the planet. But I think it's more likely that rather than actually landing on the planet, we'll maybe like fly around the sky and the atmosphere a bit, but ultimately we're going to be landing on the planet's moons and exploring them. So the reason I say this is because in Saturn's Grimoire card, it makes a point of saying that Saturn's moon, Titan, is a world larger than Mercury. And the fact that it makes like a point of saying that could be a hint that Titan, Saturn's moon, is going to be a new destination and possibly the new patrol area. Now there are a couple of reasons why Titan would kind of make sense for a new patrol area. One, it's bigger than Mercury, for God's sake, so you know, if there's going to be any new place where we're going to have a patrol area, it's probably going to be there, since like that's like the biggest place we haven't really been to yet. Mercury is going to be like, it seems pretty abandoned after the Vex have sort of messed with it. There aren't really any enemies there anymore. Whereas Titan probably has all the Taken running around it already. Since the Dreadnaught's so close, there's probably all sorts of Taken running around there. So we're going to have enemies to fight there. And just the fact that it's like mentioned in the Grimoire, and it just makes sense that Titan would be the next place we visit in the solar system. Or at least going to be a place that we visit in the Taken King. Also, Titan would be like one of the most interesting places to go in terms of like Destiny right now, because out of all the places we could go right now in Destiny, Titan seems like the most interesting one. You know, be very different, sort of very alien world compared to what we're used to in Destiny. And just imagine looking up in the sky and seeing Saturn and its famous rings so close up. That would just be awesome. So I really want to see Titan as a patrol area. I think it's a very, very likely choice. Of course, this is just speculation, this isn't confirmed, but I think it's a very likely choice that we'll be visiting Saturn, Saturn's moons, and maybe even some of Saturn's rings, some of the bigger rocks in the ring. Maybe we'll even be landing on some of them, either for story missions, strikes, and maybe even a patrol area. So you may be wondering, before we even get to Saturn and the Dreadnaught, we're going to have to fly past Jupiter. So I don't think we're going to be exploring Jupiter loads in the Taken King. I feel like we'll just sort of fly past it and gaze at it in a pretty cutscene, and Dinklebot will just say, you know what, we'll be back. I feel like Jupiter is going to be part of a future expansion rather than Taken King. It's going to be mentioned, obviously, because we have to fly past it to get to the Dreadnaught, but I don't think Jupiter is going to play a big part in the Taken King. I feel like the Vanguard is going to be like, no, you know what, Dreadnaught, Saturn, that's priority, leave Jupiter for now. But it is pretty inevitable that we're going to be visiting Jupiter at some point. It's pretty inevitable that we're going to be visiting everywhere in the solar system at some point, but Jupiter's pretty inevitable because there was actually a concept art that was made way long before Destiny was actually released of Jupiter's moon Europa, and this is like sort of come up in a lot of the Bungie things that happened sort of before Destiny was released. And this is just like another hint that Jupiter and all these like far out planets in the solar system, we're going to be visiting them at some point. It's just, you know, Bungie's way of hinting it, isn't it? So that's it in terms of like brand new places. Like, so having like story missions and strikes on the Dreadnaught and Saturn's moons like Titan, maybe even other Saturn moons. And once again, maybe even like, you know, a few visits to some of the larger rocks in Saturn's rings, that might even be happening. Jupiter probably not taking King, we might actually, but I don't think it's going to play as much as a part as Saturn will. And also according to the gameplay in the Taken King VDoc, it does appear that we're going to be having some story mission fun on Phobos and Mercury to like fight the Taken and to find these new subclasses. Seems like Phobos and Mercury are going to be like featured a lot more than they previously have been in Destiny. So I really hope you've enjoyed. Leave your thoughts about the possibility of Titan and like Saturn stuff being new patrol areas and story missions, all that stuff, just about the whole Saturn thing. Just leave any thoughts you have about Taken King. Once again, hopefully you like this sort of more shorter focused type video thing. I honestly like prefer making them like this. I feel like it's more fun, it's not as boring for me and for other people. So yeah, just leave comments. Just leave any sort of comment you like. I love comments. So thanks for watching everyone, I really hope you've enjoyed. Take care everyone, bye bye for now.